Dear students, welcome to another tutorial of operating system. And today's topic is round robin CPU scheduling algorithm. Okay. So myself Miladri Shekhar Pal. I am working as an assistant professor at Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management at Computer Science and Engineering Department. So what is round robin CPU scheduling? Basically, this is a preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm. As we know that in preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm, if a process starts to execute for execution, it may be withdrawn its execution before completing it. Okay. So before completing its execution, another process may start its execution. Okay. And in round robin CPU scheduling, each process will be given a quantile time or a time slice will be given. Okay, so a process can be executed maximum at that time at a time. Okay, so at a stretch it can be any process can be executed for that time slice. Okay, so round robin, as we have told, that it is a preemptive scheduling process. Okay, so it is a preemptive process scheduling algorithm. Each process is provided a fixed time to execute. Okay, it is called quantum. That means that each process will be given a time. Okay, so any process will be executed maximum at that time. Okay, at a stretch. Next one, once a process is executed for a given time period, it is preempted and other process executes for a given time period. So as I have told that after completing its execution, okay, the process is preempted and another process starts its execution. Suppose there are four processes P1, P2, P3 and P4 and the time slice or time quantum is 2 microseconds. So P1 will execute for 2 microseconds. After that P2 will execute for 2 microseconds. After that P3 will execute for 3 microseconds and after that P4 will execute for 2 microseconds. So all the processes has completed its execution in step 1. After that again P1 will start execution. Okay. So any process can execution maximum at that quantum time. Okay. Context switching is used to save states of preemptive processes. That means that what is context switching? Context switching is basically when a process changes its states. Okay. So when it again come back to the previous state, okay, to remember that it will save that process. Okay, this is called context switch. So this is the flowchart of round robin scheduling algorithm. Suppose a process is in ready state. Okay, so from ready state it came here. Okay, so this is BT for burst time and PQ for quantum time. Okay, so if the burst time is less than the quantum time, okay, so the burst time must be less than quantum time. Okay, that may be yes, that may be no. If the time of quantum is greater than burst time, okay, execute till completion. Okay, so the it will complete. Suppose, as I have told that, suppose the quantum time is suppose 4 and burst time is suppose 1. So what will happen? The process will execute for 1 microsecond, or we can say that the process will take the CPU for 1 microsecond. It will not take the CPU for 4 microseconds. Okay. So if the quantum time is less than the burst time, execute the process will be executed till completion. Okay. And after completion, it will be terminated. So if the burst time is greater than quantum time, okay, then execution for time quantum. Okay, that means suppose the quantum time is 2 microsecond and burst time is 5 microsecond. Okay, so we can see that burst time is greater than the quantum time, so it will execute for that quantum time. That means P1 process will execute for 2 microseconds. Okay, so it executed for 2 microseconds. Okay, so if it is execution is finished, if it is not finished, then it will again go to the ready state, and if it is completed, then it will again go to the terminated state. Okay, so what is the main thing? Suppose this is the ready state. From ready state, we will check whether the burst time is less than or greater than the quantum time. If the quantum time is the less than the burst time, then it will execute the process, and after execution the process, it will be terminated that process. And if the burst time is greater than the quantum time, okay, then the process will be executed for the quantum time period, and after quantum happen completed, it will check whether the process has been finished or not. If it is finished, then it will be terminated, and if it is not finished, then it will again go to the ready state. So this is the representation of round robin CPU scheduling algorithm. Now come, what are the advantages of round robin scheduling algorithm? It can be actually implementable in the system because it is not depending on the burst time. Okay, so it is not dependent on the burst time. It will only give a process the quantum time. Okay, so if the process want to execute it, it will execute. Otherwise, it will give that time to the next process. Next, it does not suffer from the problem of starvation or convex effect. Okay. Next, all the job gets a fair allocation of CPU. As we know that every process will get that quantum time of time. Okay, so that every process will get a limited or a similar amount of time. Okay, and what are the disadvantages of round robin? The higher the time quantum, the higher the response time in the system. Okay, if the quantum time is high, then it will take much more time. Okay. Next one is the lower the time quantum, the higher the context switching overhead in the system. Okay. Okay. So the lower the time quantum, the higher the context switching overhead in the system. Next one is deciding a perfect time quantum is really a very difficult task in the system. So now this is a problem we have to solve it. Okay, using round robin scheduling algorithm. In the previous lectures, we have already done priority scheduling, first come first serve, or shortest seek time first, or shortest final time. Okay, so today we'll do it using this problem using round robin scheduling algorithm. So as you can see that there are 6 processes P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6, and the burst time and the arrival time are given. Arrival time means the time when the process came to the main memory, and the burst time means what are the amount of time it will require, that process will require to execute. Okay, and the time quantum of the system is 4 units, that is the time slice is given, and that is 4 units. So a process can maximum execute for 4 units time. Okay, so what will happen now? So as we can see that the arrival time of P1 is 0, so P1 will execute first. Okay, so we first will do the NAT chart. So P1 will execute first. Okay, so its arrival time is 0, so it will continue its execution up to 4 units. Why 4 units? Because the time slice is 4. Okay, so it will execute for 4 microseconds. Okay, but as you can see, the burst time was 5. So 4 microsecond or 4 unit time it has been executed. So it will be now 1. Okay, next P2 will come. P2 burst time is 6, so it will execute for 4 units. Okay, so it will start at 4 and will continue for 8. Okay, so 6 minus 4 will be 2. Okay, so in the flow chart we have seen that there is a condition if the burst time is less than the quantum time. Okay, so and if the burst time is greater than the quantum time. So in these two cases, for P1 and P2, we have the burst time is greater than the quantum time. And in that logic, what will given that if the burst time is greater than the quantum time, then the process will execute for that amount of quantum time or for that amount of time slice. Okay, and if it is less than the and if is the burst time is less than the quantum time, then it will execute for the burst time. Okay, so here we can see that for in case of P3, the burst time is less than the time quantum, so it will execute for that burst time amount of time. So now P3 will execute for 3 microseconds. Okay, so this will be 0. Next came to 4 P4. In case of P4 also, the burst time is less than the quantum time. Okay, so the burst time will execute for 1 microsecond. Okay, so this will be again 0. Next one is P5, and the burst time of P5 is greater than the quantum time. So P5 will execute for that quantum time. So P5 will execute for 4 microseconds. Okay, here so 4 microseconds. So it will be again 1. Next P6. Okay, so the value of burst time of P6 is equal to the quantum time. Okay, so the P6 will execute for that quantum time or burst time. What you want to say? Okay, so this will be 0. Next again come to the P1. Okay, so P1 will execute. Burst time of P1 is less than the quantum time, so P1 will execute. Next, it will become 0. Next P2. P2's burst time is less than the quantum time, so P2 will execute for burst time. Okay, next P5 will execute for 1 microsecond. Okay, so all the process completed its execution. Okay, so as you can see that total 24 units required, and if you can add it 5 plus 6 11 14 15 20 24. Okay, so the answer is absolutely correct. Now we'll find out the arrival time and sorry waiting time and for every process and average waiting time, and then turnaround time for all the processes and average turnaround time for the system. So what is the formula for finding the waiting time? Okay, so at first what we will have to see, suppose we want to find out the waiting time for P1. So I can see that there are two blocks for P1 and this one is the last block. Okay, so we have to check what is the starting of this last block, that is 20. So the waiting time of our P1 will be 20 minus how many times it will executed before this block, that is 4 microseconds, that is 20 minus 4 minus its arrival time, that is 0. So 20 minus 4 minus 0 will be 16. Okay, so what will be for P2? Okay, as we can see that P2 will have also two blocks. So P2, this is the last one. So the where starting of this is 21 and P2 have executed for 4 before it. So 21 minus 4 minus arrival time, that is 1. So 21 minus 4 minus 1, that will be 16 microseconds. Next for P3, as you can see that P3 has only single block. So the last block it is, so the starting of the last block is 8. It has never executed before it, so 8 minus 0, and the arrival time is 2. So 8 minus 0 minus 2, that is 6. Okay. And for P4 there is also single block. So P4 has started at 11, last started at 11, and P4 executed never, and the arrival is 3. So 11 minus 0 minus 3 is 8 microseconds. And what will be for P5? We have two P5. The last P5 is this one, and the starting of the P5 is 23, and P5 have executed for 4 microseconds, so 23 minus 4 micro is 19, and the arrival time of P4 is 3, so 19 minus 3 is 6. So this was one for P5. Okay, P5 is arrival time is 4, so 23 minus 4 minus 4, that is 90. Okay, next one is for P6. P6 last executed here, so 16, never executed before, so 16 minus 0 minus 6, that is 10. Okay, so the average waiting time is, we have to add all these values, okay, and divided by 6, as total number of processes is 6. So the answer is 11.83. Okay, so let's do another, now do the turnaround time. Okay, so the turnaround time is basically the completion time minus arrival time. So the completion time for P1 is 21, the arrival time is 0. So the turnaround time will be 81 minus 0 for P1, that is 21. And for P2 will be 23 minus 1. For P3 it will be 11 minus 2, that is 9. For P4 it will be 12 minus 3, okay, that is also 9. For P5 it will be 24 minus 4, that is 20. And for P6 it will be 20 minus 6, that is 40. So these are the turnaround time for each individual process. And what is the average turnaround time? We have to add all these values and divide it by 6. This is the average waiting time. Okay, or sorry, average turnaround time. Okay, so this is the problem of round robin scheduling algorithm. Let's do another problem. Here you can see that there are 5 processes, P0, P1, P2, P3 and P4, and the burst time and the arrival time are given, and the total time quantum is 2 units. So at a process can execute for 2 microseconds at a time. Okay, so let's do the net chart first. So at first P0 will be executed, and P0 will be executed for 2 microseconds. Okay, so 2 will complete it, this will be 3. So P0 will execute for 2, so it will end at 2. Next is P1. P1 arrival time is 1 and burst time is 3. So greater than the quantum time. So P1 will execute for that quantum time, that is for 3 minutes. Sorry, P1's quantum time is greater than basically here, okay. Burst time is greater than the quantum time. So P1 will execute for the quantum time. So 2 microseconds. Okay. This will be 1. Next P2, okay. So the P2's one burst time is less than his quantum time, so it will execute for his burst time. So P2 will execute for 1 microsecond. Next P3 will be executed, and the value of P3 burst time is equal to quantum time, so P3 will execute. Okay, so P2 has executed for 2 microseconds. Next one is P4. Okay, so P4 burst time is greater than the quantum time. Okay, so it will execute for the quantum time, that is 2, and it will remain 1. So P4 will execute. After that P0 will again execute for 2 microsecond, and this will be 1. After that P1 will execute for 1 microsecond. P2, P3 has been completed, and P4 will execute it again for 1 microsecond. Okay, so it will become again 0. So now only P0 is remaining. Okay, P0 will execute for 1 microsecond. So this will be 0. So the process has been executed. Okay. So now we'll check the waiting time. So the waiting time for P1 is basically we will check the last. Sorry, that we will check. So we'll first check basically we will check for P0. Okay. Just okay. We'll basically first look for P0. Okay. So P0's last block started here. That is starting. P0 has executed for 2 to 4 time. The arrival is 0. So 13 minus 2 minus 2 minus 0 will be 13 minus 4 minus 0, that is 9 microseconds. And for P1 last executed in this block and the beginning at is 11, it has executed for 2, 11 minus 2 is 9 and it came at 1, so 9 minus 1 is 8. Okay, next one is for P2. P2 has last executed at this, so the P2 starting is 4. P2 never executed before it, so 4 minus 0 minus the arrival time, that is 2 microseconds. Okay. Next one is for P3. P3 last executed here. Starting of last execution block is 5. It will never executed before this. So 5 minus 0 minus this arrival time, that is 2 microseconds. Next one is for P4. P4's last block is this one, 12, 30. Okay. So P1 will last executed block started at 12. P2 has been executed before it for 2 microseconds, so 12 minus 2 is 10 and it has came at 4. So 12 minus 2 minus 4, that is 6 microseconds. So what will be the average waiting time? We will have to add all these values and then divided by 5. Okay. So the answer is 5.4 microseconds. Okay. So next we will find out the turnaround time. The formula of turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time. So the completion time for P0 is 40 and arrival time is 0. So for P0 it will be 14 minus 0, 14. For P1 it will be 12 minus 1, that is 11. For P3 it will be 7 minus 2. Okay. 7 minus 2, 7 minus 3 basically will be 4. And for P2 it will be 5 minus 2, that is 3. And for P4 it will be 7 minus, sorry, for P3 it will be 7 minus 3, that is 4. And for P4 it will be 9 minus 4, that is 5 microseconds. And what is the average of this turnaround time? We have to add all this turnaround time and we will divide it by 5. Okay. So the answer is 7.54 microseconds. So let's do another problem. Okay. So this is another problem. We have and again 6 processes P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6 and burst time and arrival times are given and the quantum time is 2 microseconds. That means the process will execute maximum for 2 microseconds at a time. Okay. So as we can see that P1 process will first execute and it will execute for 2 microseconds and it will start at 0 microsecond. Okay. So the next chart is P1 will start from 0, will execute for 2 microseconds. Okay. So after that P3 will execute for 2 microseconds. The remaining is 3. Okay. After that P3 and P3 will execute for 2 microseconds. So P3 will be 0. After that P4 will be executed and its burst time is 1. So it will execute for 1. Okay. So it will be 0. Next P5 will be executed. Okay, and it will execute for 2 microseconds as the burst time is greater than the quantum time. Okay. And after that P6 will be executed for 2 microseconds. Okay, so 3 will be 1. Okay. So again P1 will start its execution. and this 2 will be 0. And for P2 it will execute for 2 microseconds. So this 3 will be 1. Okay. For P3 process has been completed. P4 also completed. Next for P5. P5 will execute for 2 microseconds. Okay. Next P6. P6 will execute for remaining 1 microsecond. Okay. This will be 0. Okay. So again repeat to the P1. P1 has been completed. Next come to the P2. P2 will execute it for 1 microsecond. Okay. After that P5 will execute. Okay. So this is the complete net chart of this problem. Next we will find out the waiting time. So the waiting time for P1 is the last block is P1 is this one. Starting is 11. P1 executed once, so 11 minus 2 is 9 minus the arrival time. Okay. So what will be the of P1? 11 minus 2 minus 0. That is 9 microseconds. What will be for P2? P2 has last executed here. So starting is here. 18 minus arrival. How many times it has been executed? 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay. So for 2 time it has been executed. So 4 microseconds. Okay. Minus 18 minus 4 minus 1. That is 30. Next for P3. P3 is here. So starting time is 4. It has never executed. So 4 minus 0 minus 2. That is 2 microseconds. And for P4 the last one is here. So the starting is 6 and it has never executed before. So 6 minus 0 minus is 3. That is 3. Next one is for P5. P5 last executed here. Starting is 19. 19 minus how many times P5 executed? 1, 2. 2 times. That is minus 4. So 19 minus 4 minus again 4. So 12 it is. So 11. And for P6 it is this is 17. Last block is this one. 17 minus how many times? Only once. So 17 minus 2 is 15. And this is the arrival time. 15 minus 6 is 9. Okay. So the average waiting time will be we have to sum all these values and divide it by 6. So the answer is 8.383. Next we will find out the turnaround time. And the turnaround time formula is completion time minus arrival time. So for P1 it will be completion time is 13 minus arrival time is 0. For P2 it will be 17 minus 0. For P3 it is 6 minus 2. Okay. And for P4 it is P4 and 9. P4 is 7 minus 3 that is 4. Okay. So P1 is 13 minus 0. Okay. P2 is 19 minus 1. P3 is 6 minus 2. P4 is 7 minus 3. And P5 is 21 minus 4 that is 17. And P6 is 18 minus 6 that is 12. For P6 it is P6 there is an error on P6. So turnaround time for P6 will be 18 basically. Okay. So it will be 18. So for P6 it is 18 minus 6. Okay.